I'm home from WordCamp US 2023 and I had an absolutely fantastic time. This is my second WordCamp that I've attended, the first one being WordCamp Europe 2022 last year, which you've probably heard me talk about, and my voice and my sinuses are struggling after that trip. Everything was great and I really enjoyed it, so I wanted to walk you through what it's like to go to WordCamp and why I strongly recommend that you consider going and really take advantage of all the opportunities that present themselves nowhere better than in person at WordCamp. I recorded a bunch of things throughout the weekend, so I'm going to intersperse that footage here as I'm talking and just kind of walk you through what it's like. So the first day I am coming into town, and the first evening really kicks off the networking and kind of the socializing aspect, which for me was the most valuable portion of the event. So really, although the event actually happens on Friday and Saturday, really everything kicks off on Thursday and even beforehand for some kind of private events and that sort of thing. The first thing I did was meet up with Kyle and a bunch of other members from the admin bar community, along with his group called Table, which I'm a part of. And we just went out to dinner and kind of connected right off the bat, which was really fantastic. And it's just one of those things that we spend so much time behind computer screens that when you really get a chance to chat with people face to face, you build a stronger connection with them in 5 minutes than you do when 5 hours between a computer screen. There's just something about that personal connection that really goes a long way. And that's something you're going to hear me talk about a lot through this video and something that I took away really strongly from this event. WordCamp US this year was held in National Harbor, Maryland at the Gaylord National Convention Center, which was a beautiful venue, absolutely mammoth in scale. It was hard to believe that there was all these what felt like outside areas that were actually contained in this huge glass dome. It was air conditioned. There was all kinds of different seating options and restaurants and stuff all contained inside this. And then just a few steps out the front door of the convention center, there was a area where there was tons of shops and all that kind of stuff. But really, you didn't even need to leave the convention center the whole time, which was great. So the first night is all about connecting and networking and just showing up, just getting your feet wet in terms of finding out where people are hanging out. If you know somebody, even just a little bit, walk up and make conversation with them, because the opportunities and the people you meet around them always translate into something positive. So the next day, on the morning of the first day of the event, the first thing that I did was kind of go check out the sponsor hall, and it was pretty quiet in there that time of the morning. It had just opened up and the talks hadn't even started yet. So we kind of wandered around a little bit. We did some fun little games that some of the vendors were offering, and Kyle Van Duzen had a little bit of success with that. And then we went into the opening keynote, which of course was interesting. It was how NASA is moving their site over to WordPress. Unfortunately, they didn't go into great technical depth here, which I really would have enjoyed them doing. And there was a lot of questions that, just we weren't able to get answered. So that talk was really interesting and something that I would love to learn more about and watch how this site kind of moves into WordPress. There was a follow-up session where people had the opportunity to answer questions, but of course, there's just so many people and so little time that not every question got answered. But still, it was awesome to see behind the scenes in the admin interface on this NASA migration. That was a really cool kind of opening keynote. After that, we kind of went back into the vendor area where they were serving lunch, which was absolutely delicious. Considering the fact that our ticket was only $50 and we got served 2 amazing meals over the course of the 2 days, I don't know how they put all this together. It's really an incredible feat that, sometimes these conferences are $1,000 or sometimes multiple thousands of dollars for the level of, organization and the volume of people that come through. So we really are spoiled. Later that day, I went to some more sessions and talks. Overall, my takeaways were that I wasn't particularly interested in a lot of the talks, and I do wish they had more technical depth, like I said. And that seems to be a kind of general consensus for most people that go. Even beforehand, most people were kind of rumbling about the fact that really the social networking is where it's at, as opposed to the talks. But that's something that I would like to try to encourage the community to help change. It's something that I think really the only way to fix is to be involved in it and kind of advocating for it. So as we're moving into WordCamp Europe and US 2024, I really want to encourage you to get involved, put your name in the hat for a speaker rotation. They say that anybody of any background and any skill level is welcome, so I'm sure that there's something of value you can bring to the table. That's something I'm going to consider is putting my name in the hat next year for a speaking opportunity, and hopefully, kind of bring another level of conversation to the table. So we'll see how that goes coming into next year. That evening, we had the opportunity to go to a WP Engine hosted party at Topgolf, which was amazingly fun. I've never swung a golf club in my life before, but got the opportunity to hang out with Kevin Geary and Sunny, and it was an extremely fun evening. We had a really great time, and it was just a fun outlet to do something non-work related, but of course, WordPress and those sorts of conversations still come up naturally. It was a really great time. After that, we wandered into the Pride Party, which was one of the loudest bits of music and party that I've ever come across in my entire life. It was probably double or triple the volume of a normal club. It was hilarious. As we're coming up the elevator, we're like, oh my gosh, this is so loud. And then the doors open and it's like a wall of sound hit us in the face. It was a very, very fun evening. So after that, we went out and hung out on the grounds of the conference center outside, and it was great weather. We were able to sit there, just chat and chat for hours and hours. And like I said at the very beginning of this video, the social networking aspect was immense and incredibly valuable. Of course, hanging out at the hotel bar, I'm not one to drink very much, and the drinks were flowing, to say the least. So it turned into a really fun evening of networking, and of course, by the time we were all ready to shut it down, it was already late and only a few hours until the next day kicked off. So the next morning, when I kind of did my introduction, you can see how tired I look. Morning of day 2, this has been fantastic so far, but it is flying by. Got some more talks, then some lunch. There's a social tonight, and then more networking and more hanging out, I'm sure. So it's been great so far. By really only the second day of the event, it had been, a little over 72 hours since most of us had arrived, and we were already feeling wiped out and tired. So there was a lot of just hanging out, chilling and networking, going to a couple of the talks. And then everybody kind of converged back later in the day for the final 2 conversations, which were hosted by the VP of WordPress and Matt Mullenweg, both of which felt kind of corporate-y and not really applicable to the variety of WordPress users that were there. They had this interesting system where you could propose a question digitally and then vote on the questions to kind of rise to the top. A couple of them were interesting. A couple of them felt like, why did you take the time to answer this and not, actually WordPress specific stuff? But, that's just how it goes when there's thousands of people in the room all wanting their question answered and only 2 people and 15 minutes to do so. Just kind of the way it goes. I also intended to get the viewpoints of a few people who I knew well that attended, but I failed as a vlogger and only got one, which is Kyle Van Duzen, so I'm going to let him speak real quick.
So I think if it's your first time coming to WordCamp, the biggest takeaway is don't worry about which talks you're going to see or which vendors you have to go to. It's about connecting with tons of people. So the more people you can meet, especially people that you've been talking to online a long time, being able to see them in person and have conversations and sit down and break bread with them, it makes a huge difference in the end in all the relationships you form. So I would just worry about doing that if you're coming.
That evening, as the event is winding down, there was a really great opportunity to go to the Smithsonian Museum of Natural History in Washington, D.C. proper. The event, like I said, was in National Harbor, and D.C. was about a 20-minute car ride away. So the entire museum was closed to the public, and we had a couple of wings entirely to ourselves, which was absolutely fantastic. There was some really delicious desserts and just an opportunity to do something interesting. So I really, really enjoyed that social. I didn't spend too much time there because, like I said, I was already exhausted by this point. But that was very, very cool and something that I'll remember for a long time. Now what I want to do is walk you through some of the swag that I got, and I'm calling this the swag report. So I'm going to walk you through some of the cool stuff that the vendors were handing out. Got a lot of t-shirts. So Gravity Forms, this one is super cool and really, really soft. WordCamp shirt, this one was neat. Rocket.net. This one was cool as well. The Pagely shirt, I don't use them, but I thought it was really cool. It had that like kind of 80s Miami vibe to it. Managed to snag the obligatory Cloudways shirt, of course. WP Engine shirt with the kind of National Harbor WordCamp US 2023 shirt. This one was awesome, so I got that one too. And then I have a bag full of swag, a WordPress bag, which is pretty cool. So let me dump all this out here.
I'm waiting swag.
I have a monumental amount of stickers to add to my board, so I'm really excited about that. Everything from WP Engine, a cool turbo one, I don't actually know what that's for or from. Pride Yoast one that's kind of reflecty and awesome. Rocket.net again. WordCamp US 2023, whatever that's called, the mascot, I guess it is. Something like that. WordPress and Chill. WS Forms. I think this is my favorite sticker from the entire event. It says World's OKest Web Developer. If that isn't me, I don't know what is. WordCamp sticker. Make the logo bigger. Run Cloud. This one is from Kyle from the admin bar. This one says, hello, my name is Waiting on Content. I absolutely love that. Got another badge to add to my badge back there. That one's from WordCamp Europe. Another sweet Gravity Forms stickers. I think consistently Gravity Forms has the coolest stickers and designs. So whoever their graphic designer is, you're absolutely kick-ass and I love it. Cool little WordCamp US luggage tag. Another admin bar sticker, which Kyle was kind enough to send me one already. And an ACF sticker, which is pretty dope as well. Also, Elementor gave out reusable straws, which is kind of funny. They were giving out like frisbees and balls and all kinds of stuff. So overall, the event was a massive success. I really enjoyed every single moment of it. There are grumblings that you might hear about online, but ultimately the event was a huge success. There were so many people that put in hours, if not hundreds of hours of their own time, completely as volunteers to put this thing on. So really, I think the best time spent here is to praise the people that put this on and provide constructive, valuable feedback. Really, the only thing that I have to report on that front is just simply that I would love to see a more diverse topic selection. So things like more technical WordPress deep dives or that kind of thing. When I went to WordCamp Europe in 2022, there were more technical talks, but I'm sure that's just a matter of who applies and who gets selected. I don't know what that process looks like, so I would love some visibility into who applied, who got turned down, and who was selected, sort of that selection process. Maybe that's a matter of me getting involved and really understanding what's kind of going on behind the scenes. But I would love some more insight into that, because really I think if we can shake that reputation of the talks aren't worth it, then the conference becomes even more valuable, it will grow more, and ultimately we all benefit from it. So that's something that I would really like to address moving forward. It's going to be a slow chug, slow battle, I think, but that's really my only complaint. Beyond that, I really have no complaints. The event was a huge success. People of all walks of life from all around the world and in different positions, whether they're YouTubers or plugin creators or agency owners, solo freelancers of all descriptions were there, and it was really amazing to see this come together. Apparently this was the biggest WordCamp US ever, which was super awesome. I love to hear that. And I hope that this success and kind of the broad range of people that we have means that we can make this event even better moving forward. So with that in mind, hope you enjoyed this look behind the scenes. I'm definitely going to be attending both WordCamp Europe 2024 and US 2024. So go ahead and pencil that in. Torino, Italy for WordCamp Europe, and WordCamp US at the time of this recording is not yet announced as to where and when it will be. But like I said, I'm going to be at both, so I hope to see you there. If you have any specific questions, do please let me know. But otherwise, I'll look forward to seeing you in a future video.